A common question that I get is, what should I be tracking in my business? And that is a very important question because if you're not tracking these five metrics that I'm going to be talking about, if you're not tracking them in your business, you are just not missing just opportunities, you're losing money as well. Every week, I meet hardworking business owners who are putting in the hours, grinding day and night, but still wondering, where's the profit? They're stuck in the day-to-day chaos, chasing revenue, but not results. Does this sound familiar? So let's go ahead and let's unpack the reason why. A client of mine owned a respected service-based business. They had a talented team, loyal customers, and on the surface, everything looked very solid. But behind the scenes, he was overwhelmed. Revenue came in, but where were the profits? It was just sporadic. Growth meant really more stress, not more freedom. But when we sat down and I asked him, so do you know what the margins are on each of your sales? He paused. He couldn't answer. So I kept on going. So what's your average dollar sale on your transactions? Or how many of your customers keep returning and how often? Or what's your conversion rate of the leads that you're generating? And still no answer. And if that's you, don't worry because you're not alone. But here's the truth, you cannot grow what you don't measure. So today, I'm going to walk you through the five most important metrics that really transformed his business and other action coach businesses as well, and could do the same for yours. Because when you track the right numbers, you stop reacting and you start leading. So let's ditch the guesswork and let's start the talk about strategy. Most business owners obsess over revenue, but here's the catch that revenue is just a vanity metric. It might impress others, but it hides what's really happening underneath. Instead, let's focus on actually what drives the profit, what drives profitability in your business performance and getting you some peace of mind. So here's what you really need to measure. Here are the five metrics that really matter. First, it's your margin. So what percent of every dollar do you keep? Forget about just making sales. Let's talk about making money. And if you don't know what your profit per sale is, you're flying blind no matter how much, and really no matter how much hustle you put in, it's not going to fix it. You can actually sell yourself into bankruptcy. The second is, what's your average dollar sale value? How much does your customer spend with each transaction? If it's 70, how do we get it to 90 or 100? Or if it's 7,500, how do we get it to 9,000 or 10,000? So that's really just pure leverage. And the same customer, just higher value. The third is repeat business rate. How many of your customers come back and how often? Because acquiring new customers is really expensive, but building loyalty, that's where profitability lives. One of my clients doubled their revenue and profits by just focusing on this one strategy, not by adding new leads, but by better serving the ones that they already had. And next is leads. How many new leads do you generate every week from website traffic, phone calls, email inquiries, referrals? You need to track them all because if you're not measuring it, you're depending on hope. And I'll tell you this, hope is not a business strategy. And last is, what is your conversion rate? How many of those leads are we turning into paying customers? So you don't need more leads, you need better conversions. Now, if you take a 10% increase in each of these five areas, you grow your profits without increasing your ad spend. So why do these numbers matter? They're just not numbers. These are your profit levers. And when you pull the right lever at the right time, everything seems to change. Now I get it. Tracking these numbers while you're running a business, it ain't easy, is it? But that's why I coach business owners just like you, not to just understand these metrics, but to build systems around them week after week, month after month. So I'm business coach Steve Goranson, and if this message hits home and you're ready to stop flying blind, let's go ahead and talk. So I invite you to discover the power of coaching today. Start with a 2-week complimentary business breakthrough coaching experience. All you need to do is go ahead, click on the link. You can learn more about this, and it starts with just you scheduling a quick discovery call with me. Your business deserves it, and so do you.